Hi guys, I finally got a setup so I can do traditional art. It's a bunch of books and a hanger, but it works. Don't mind my nails, I haven't had time to paint them. Anyways, so for my first video I figured I'd talk about one of my favorite mediums in traditional art, and that is alcohol-based markers. I use Copics. You don't have to use Copics, I know they're the more expensive option. I do not have a big collection. I've been collecting them over a couple of, maybe 3 years or so, and it's still a very small collection. So if you want to go with Prismacolor or something else, go ahead, do your research and figure out which ones you like first, or which ones you like best. The reasons why I like Copics are they're refillable. Anyways, so to start off, I'm going to talk about how I do most of my traditional art. If it's just a sketch, I'll just do the sketch. But if I want to add color, I have a light box from Huion that I love, and I'll link down below. You could also just use a window, or I don't know. I used to use like a clear container and like a flashlight as a light box. But you don't have to trace your stuff if you don't want to, so there's that also. But I usually trace so I have my original and I can do different color schemes with this or what have you on a different piece of paper whenever I want. So this was done with these 2 packs. You don't need a lot of Copics to produce a good piece of art. Oh, and the green for the eye. Anyways, but that is how I like to do my art. I have my original sketch and then I have a trace which I color. On to actual Copics, and if you're just starting out with Copics, first 3 packs I got, because I do a lot of, I draw a lot of people, were these 3. So I have a red, blue, and a beginner skin tone pack. Very beginner skin tone pack. They have darker shades and skin tones and what have you, but this is the beginner pack I got. Anyways, so this is a good pack to get if, so these are the, so these 3 I'd recommend if you like doing skin tone, or if you like doing people. Sorry, if you like doing people. Although, depending on you might want to switch out the blue or the red for a pack of yellows. And if you don't do people that much, just get your 3 primary colors. So there's that. And anyone in the comments who wants to argue with me about the primary colors, I don't have like the cyan and whatever, or I think it's like, I can't even remember what the reddish pinky color was, but I actually prefer that color scheme better, but for mixing at least. But if you don't care, just get a pack of the 3 base colors. I get all my Copics off of Dick Blick Art Supplies. It's a website. It's basically like it's a legit site. These are legit Copics. It's the cheapest price I've found. So it's $15 for a pack of 3, which is $5 marker. I know some places it's like $7 or $8 for a marker. So if you want to get Copics, I recommend them. Their shipping takes a little longer than, say, Amazon, but for the price, I think it's worth it. But that's just me. So if you're starting out, get a pack of the primary colors and a skin tone if you want. If not, I'd say stick with the 3 primary colors because you can mix and get your secondary and tertiary colors that way. Or you could buy markers in a single and get a little bit of every color. I like, when I first started, I liked buying them in packs. I still do, but the more markers you have, the less you want to buy in packs because you might repeat a color, and you can get refills for your Copics, which so I have a refill for my E95, which is this skin tone right here, and so I can refill my Copics. That's why I prefer Copics over other alcohol-based markers, but that's just me. Also, a refill will give you like 5 to 10, I don't even know how many refills, but they only cost as much as a marker, so it's a good deal. So that's what I would recommend for beginners. You can also get a colorless blender. I don't stress getting a colorless blender that much. A lot of people, like, the name is misleading. It pushes the color around more than it blends. I'll show that in a bit, but this is gonna be a long video. It might get split up into 2 parts. I don't know. But anyways, so I'd recommend starting with your primary, getting a skin tone if you want. You don't have to get these exact same packs as me, doesn't matter. I lost track of what order I got the rest of my markers in, but I have this pack, which is a brown yellows, darker browns, greens, purples. I don't know, I call those raspberries, and then pinks. And then I also have my grays and my colorless blender. That is my Copic collection. I know, it's small, but it's enough that I can do what I want with it. Like, I can mix and match colors and stuff and get the results I still want. Anyways, enough of me rambling. So I think I mentioned the paper I use is just 80-pound cardstock. It's not Copic paper, but it's smooth and things blend well. So I guess I'll show you, because there's the colorless blender is it's kind of annoying because it's not a blender. And by that, I mean, well, I'll just show you. So this is my darkest red, it's an R17, and my lightest red, which is an R12. Don't use this for skin tone unless you want them to look like they're sunburnt. I learned that the hard way. So if you want to just blend with the colorless blender, it doesn't work. It pushes the ink more than it does anything else. I know some people like to put down a base of their colorless blender and then go over top of it for blending. And that can kind of work. But your colors won't really be as saturated and they'll bleed more. You can see how it's, well, you might not be able to see. You can see how there's bleeding on this one and there's not bleeding on that one. So that's a method some people like. I'm not the biggest fan of it. If you want to blend, I recommend you get an in-between color and just make that work. Now this is a real quick example. And it's not the best example there is because the R12 is so light. But if you go over top of it, and it works. If you go to the dragon, you can see that I did a lot of blending with a pair of 3 gray markers that I had. So there's that. That's how I like to blend my Copics. Start with your, well, usually I'll color everything in the light color and then I'll color the medium color where I want that, and then the dark, and then blend with the medium color again. I'll do a video on that some other time. This video is gonna get too long if I do it here. Another thing you could use the colorless blender for is you can transfer some of the ink from the nib, and that was a bad example. But you can transfer some of the color onto your colorless blender and get a softer look, and it comes right out of the colorless blender. Like, that was a red and it did not stain. So that's one way to add a shadow or whatever you want. I don't use this technique that often, but I do use it sometimes. And then the other thing I love my colorless blender for is fixing mistakes. So the other thing is with other markers, if it's streaky, like if you're using water-based, if it's streaky, you cannot fix that. With Copics, it just means it's not saturated enough. So just go over it a little bit more and it will not be streaky. See? No streaks. But as you can see, I went over the lines quite a bit. So what you can do is you can just push the color back. You need to be careful. You might want to push the color back part way and then come back and push it back the rest of the way. You want, because what it does is the color just builds up, kind of. Like you can see it moved out of the way and built up right here. Or you can't see that. Moved out of the way and it built up right here, kind of. So that's what it does. So you want that to kind of blend in with your line work. And with certain colors, you're not going to be able to erase or move all the color back. Like, reds are known to stain in any medium. I got a text. I'll answer that in a minute. But yeah, so as you can see, I fixed that. This will dry and everything will be normal. But that's the colorless blender. That's my how I usually blend. This was not best example of how I usually blend, but oh well. And then for line work, this is the Copic multi-line. This is the Copic multi-liner. It came in this pack. So when your ink is still wet, it will rub off with some markers. Copic multi-liner is made so it won't do that. Sharpie will destroy your artwork. Even if you let it dry. You can see how it's kind of smudged there. These really aren't the best examples. One of my favorite liners that is not Copic, so is cheaper, is the Micron. This is my 005, so it's tiny. Do I have a thicker one in my... Yes. This is my 01. It's kind of old though, so... But as you can see, Sharpie has bled, the Copic sketch has not bled, and the Micron has not bled. So you might have to do some experimenting. I know if I want to line in my calligraphy stuff, I cannot use Copics because it will all bleed. And then for highlights, I'm sorry you guys, this video is really bad. Highlights, I just use a white jelly pen. It's great. Gets the job done. This is a silver white. This is a silver jelly pen. Sometimes I use silver because it gives it a little, I don't know, a little oomph, depending on what you want. Here's my white jelly pen. It's just Y&C Jelly Extreme. It really doesn't matter what brand your jelly pen is. It's a jelly pen. Like, I remember when I was like in 6th grade, those sparkly gel pens were all the rage. Mine got stolen. But if you want to use sparkly gel pens for your art, do it. Those could also make a fun liner if you want to do like a rainbow liner or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, that is Copics. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll be back next time with hopefully a better video. This is really mainly a test for my new stand and to see if the audio with my phone will work. Oh, before I go, I have this. It is black paper, and I like to use my Prismacolors on it, but I don't know what to draw. So, you can kind of see the front of the sketchbook kind of gives you like a cool example of how some of the colors can turn out. But if you have a suggestion for what I should draw with on my black paper, leave it in the comments down below and I'll make a video of that. Anyways, that was random and that was loud. But I'm sorry for the crappy video today. Please bear with me. They will get better. And I hope this helped you in some way, shape, or form. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.